This is Kyle McCord, and you're listening to Austin, Felix, and Matt on the Devy Debate.
Welcome to the Devy Debate. All right, boys. Are we ready to debate? Austin, you tweeted something, girl. You tweeted your running back rankings. Explain yourself.
Boy, that escalated quickly. I mean, that really got out of hand fast. You jumped up and
That's Austin Nace.
Who is going to be that guy? And for me, Bijan Robinson is still going to be that guy.
Back to the ground with Robinson, who spins and then tries to bounce it. A stiff arm, another one as he rides it, keeps his balance. They're going to say he stepped out, but
I'm Felix Sharpe. I know you didn't think that we would get through this episode without mentioning the name one Zach F. Wilson.
Screener draw. Oh, Wilson is going to uncork for the end zone, and he drops it in beautifully. And it is his roommate, Dax Milne, on the touchdown.
That's Matt Bruening.
G. Scott Jr. Obviously, I waxed poetic about him on the last episode, so I won't do that again here.
And this time it's Fields on the carry. Watch out! Justin Fields, hello, Columbus, 51 yards.
Bruening, are you ready to go head-to-head with me?
I am.
Got to get my popcorn out here. Hold on.
Got to continue. I got it. Kyle McCord is going to end up winning the job. He's going to be rated higher.
Well, I'm not nearly as passionate about what I'm about to talk about.
Our apologies because Herb Street ran out of time. We'll get him rescheduled soon. And for Matt Bruening and Austin Nace, I'm Felix Sharpe. Good night and good luck. It's 9:30 Eastern time, the time zone that doesn't kneel for nobody. That means it's time for the Devy Debate, brought to you by CampusCan.com. Just Matt Bruening and Felix Sharpe with you tonight on a macho version of tonight's show. How many players are presently elite at their respective positions? We play a game of keep, trade, and cut. And Matthew doesn't know this, but I bet you I can get him to lie to you during this show, straight to your face. But before we get to all that, I want to start. This is a good slate, Matthew, this weekend of games. I don't think that there's a game that I'm looking more forward to watching than Oregon and Washington. Two top 10 teams, Pac-12, that score a lot. And for all of these games, Oregon at Washington, USC at Notre Dame, Miami at North Carolina, and UCLA at Oregon State, I want you to give me the most important non-quarterback player in each of these games. It could be a skill position player. It could be anybody, quite frankly. I've got my list. I don't know. Do you want to start? We're going to start with Oregon and Washington. Washington favored by just 3. Do you want to start?
Yeah, I can do that. Like one from each team. You just want one from the entire game for Oregon, Washington.
I just picked one from the entire game.
Okay. Then I'll go with Troy Franklin because I don't think you'll go with Troy Franklin. I think he's been the big playmaker for Oregon in that offense. If Oregon has any shot of keeping up with that Washington offense, they're going to have to rely on him. Since we're doing non-QBs, I'll go with him. USC Notre Dame.
No. Let me just let's stay with
go.
One game first. Jeez. Putting the cart before the horse here.
Go ahead.
There's going to be a lot of points scored in this game. Now, Oregon has kind of spread the ball out other than to Troy Franklin. That's why I think that the most important player in this game is Gary Bryant Jr. So he's second on the team in receptions, but first on the team in snaps at wide receiver, even ahead of Troy Franklin. Now we know Washington has 4 guys between Penix Jr., Jalen McMillan, Jalen Polk, and Roma Dunze that are going to be playing in the NFL. I don't think we know that about Oregon's skill position players just yet, even though they might be good. So if you're going to keep up with that scoring offense, it can't just be Troy Franklin. Somebody else has to have a big game. And there was a point in which we thought Gary Bryant Jr. was going to be like the next thing when he was playing with Jackson Dart at USC. He's, again, tied on the second on the team in receptions. if Oregon is going to score in this one, it can't just be Troy Franklin. You got to have a big game from somebody else. It's got to be Jordan James. It's got to be Bucky Irving. It's got to be Gary Bryant Jr. He's the one that I'm picking here. It could also be Tez Johnson, excuse me. He's got an explosive skill set. But in this one, because he's leading the team in snaps, I'm going to pick Gary Bryant Jr.
Okay. Can I talk USC?
Let's go
Notre
to
Dame now?
let's go to USC and Notre Dame. Notre Dame is favored. I'm surprised by this one, actually.
Yeah.
Notre Dame is favored by 2.5 in this one. So, I mean, almost a coin flip for a Notre Dame team that's really just gave one up to Louisville here on Saturday. Who is your impact player in this one?
Yeah, I assume they're giving Notre Dame 2.5 just because it's at home for them.
Right.
I don't really view this as a pick 'em. I think USC is, I don't want to say necessarily the overall better team because their defense is hot garbage, but I definitely trust Caleb Williams, that offense, a whole lot more. But if I'm picking a player that I think could impact this game, I'm going to go off the beaten path here a little bit, and a guy that I've actually talked a lot about, running back Jeremiah Love for Notre Dame, I think could make a big impact in this game. He's very important. I think, in my opinion, if you look at just the stats and even when he's playing, he's been the better running back for Notre Dame. I get why they use Audric Estime when they do, but for me, Love has been the better player. If Sam Hartman and this Notre Dame offense want to keep Caleb Williams off the field, and that's really the only way they're going to keep him from not scoring, because that defense, I don't think is going to really slow that offense down. They're going to have to play keep away. And I think having a player like Jeremiah Love, getting those first downs, having the explosive plays that he has had so far this year for that offense could help keep Notre Dame's offense on the field a little bit longer. I still think, obviously, Estime is going to get a bulk of the carries, but I wouldn't be surprised if Jeremiah Love has some big explosive plays in this game to help Notre Dame win it. If they do, I don't think they will.
I think you got the right position, wrong player, because I'm going to take Audric Estime as being the most important. So in their wins, Audric Estime has averaged 16 receptions for 120 yards. In their losses, he's averaged 12 carries for 45 yards. USC is 90th in the country in rushing defense. They're giving up over 4 yards a carry and over 157 yards per game. You're right on the logic on how you win this. You keep Caleb Williams off the field. And I think, quite frankly, you hope that the travel for these California kids, maybe it's a little bit frosty in South Bend, Indiana, and they can't handle the cold, even though it's a 3:30 game. But that is how you win. You run the ball. You stay in front of the chains. You keep Caleb Williams off the field. The problem is that USC might just, these are going to be some short drives, not taking a lot of time off the clock, because USC, I don't know if they fixed their tackling problems, but so I can see Audric Estime having a problem with Audric Estime. This defense held Ohio State to 17, held Duke to 14. I think you want to play a slow game here. And how do you play a slow game? You do it with the running back position. We know that they had that first game against Navy. Jaden Greathouse had 2 touchdowns in that one. They were good. After that, they're going back to the tight end. Is it Holton? Is it Holton Stays, who's the leading receiver on the team right now? Man, I don't know what's wrong with Notre Dame's wide receiver position. They've had a problem with that position for a very long time. So if you're going to beat USC, you're not just going to go punch for punch with them offensively. At least I don't think so. You got to control the ball, and you do that with Audric Estime. 230 pounds. Why not put it in his belly 24 times this game and get him going again? Absolutely disappeared last week. He had 30? He had 30 or 40 yards last week against Louisville. They got to get him going if they're going to win this one. And, I don't know. 2.5, I feel like Vegas knows something that we all don't know. I don't know how this is a coin flip just because, Notre Dame is at home. I thought it would be USC the other way. USC by 3, but I don't know. So that's who I got. I got Audric Estime, the key player in this game, but another one that I can't wait to watch.
Yeah, I think traveling for USC, bad defense, again, at home, I guess they just view these teams.
They did just play an ugly game. They had a double overtime game against Arizona. They might be emotionally tired, whatever. They had to stay up late. This one's on the East Coast. I don't know.
To answer your question, the leading receiver on Notre Dame is actually Mitchell Evans, followed very closely by
the wrong tight end,
former running back Chris Tyree, which I find very interesting. I didn't realize he was having not really a good season, but
I don't think any other wide receivers are having a good season.
No, they're really not.
You got the stats in front of you. How many receptions does Jaden Greathouse have?
He has 12, actually, which is 5th on the team. Yep.
It's good for a freshman.
And 166 yards, 3 touchdowns. Obviously, the 2 came in,
2 in the
Navy
first game.
But still, pretty good. I mean, he's over guys like Tobias Merriweather, Rico Flores, Holden Stays, as you talked about, the tight end. He's really not that far behind Jaden Thomas, who would be
I thought
got more receptions.
I thought that team was going to be so balanced that they can beat you a number of ways. With Sam Hartman there, they can, throw for 300 yards if they needed to, run for 200 yards if they needed to. It hadn't panned out that way. So I don't know. We'll see. That's another one I'm watching. ACC conference play between 2 quarterbacks who can really sling it. Miami at North Carolina. North Carolina favored by 3.5. The over-under on this game is 57.5. Miami has done a lot of scoring outside of last week's Georgia Tech game as soon as they started playing interconference play. I think that's how they got to score. You got to get pressure on Drake May. That's how you beat Miami in North Carolina. Ruben Baines Jr., number 44. He is a 6'3", 275-pound freshman. He is, if you look at PFF grades, he's the best defender on Miami's team. He also leads the team in sacks with 3. He's 3rd on the team in pressures with 9. He actually had 3 sacks in the spring game, and I actually went back and watched. They were like, no, he didn't act because, it's two-hand touch. They were real. I mean, they would have been sacks if it was a real game. A bigger player who can move. I don't know. If Miami is going to win this game, you do it by getting pressure. I wish he was an interior defensive lineman because pressure up the middle is a lot more frustrating for quarterbacks, especially for somebody like Drake May who has mobility. But I would cross my fingers from, if I was a Miami fan, that Ruben Baines Jr. would get in the backfield, have a couple of sacks, maybe a sack fumble, and have a big play in the game. That's how you win, is if that guy goes berserk. But, I mean, he's a freshman. I don't know how much you can expect from him. But he is playing really well this season. So, in this Miami-North Carolina game, if Miami's going to pull it off, I think this freshman has to have a big one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to take the low-hanging fruit, Devontae Walker. I mean, if he comes out there and has the big game here, pairing up with Drake May, second game, then I don't even know. Did he actually get a chance to really practice with the team while he was ineligible? It's just he wasn't able to play games. Obviously, in my opinion, I know you were very high on him very early on. Nate was a couple years ago. He's the best wide receiver on the team. If he
should have scored last, they were in crossers and he was open in the end zone. The crowd would have went wild if he caught that ball. Drake May just missed him. So yeah.
I mean, I don't mean this as a shot at their wide receiver core, but Kobe Pacer, Nate McCollum, Gavin Blackwell, John.
Nate McCollum is playing well.
They're playing well. They're playing okay. JJ Jones. I don't think it's any shade to say that Devontae Walker is easily the best wide receiver on that team. We've seen what Miami can give up in the passing game. If Devontae Walker and Drake May can build that connection up in this game, I think it's going to be a fun game. He's the one that I'm watching. He's the one I think has the biggest impact.
You know who else is playing well?
Who's that?
Marion Hampton. Marion Hampton is playing well. So I guess his 20 miles per hour top speed is not really affecting him this year. A big boy can play. The Pac-12 has been excellent this year. We got another good one this weekend, UCLA at Oregon State. I think this is an easy one as far as who the impact player is. And I was practicing this before the show. Leatu Latu. He had 10 sacks last year. Coming into this season, he was first team all Pac-12. He already has 5 this year. Barnabas put me on this kid, number 15. He's a rush end, but he stands up sometimes. So, he might be a 3-4 outside linebacker. He is Pro Football Focus's top pass rusher with a 91.3 grade, best in Power 5. And a lot of people are saying that he should be the first defender, the first defensive player taken. Have this guy go chase after DJ or Aiden Childs if he's in there. That's the impact player. That's the low-hanging fruit. Latu. I'm going to get it. Cameron sit there. He asked me, what am I doing? Because I was saying it over and over again, and now I can't say it right.
I'm going to go Man, I wanted to go Carson Steele, but I don't really think that he is going to. And now his name just completely jumped out of my head. Oh my God. Oregon
J.
State's
Michael
running
Sturdivant?
back. No.
Oh, Damian Martinez?
Damian Martinez. I don't know why I wanted to say Damian Harris so bad. Maybe it's because I was listening back to Devy and listening to Mike complain about his Patriots. Damian Martinez, I think, is going to be the guy that I will take in this game. If they're able to get after DJU, they're going to have to rely on that run game a little bit. UCLA coming off a close win that they probably could have lost. Dante Moore reeling a little bit. Oregon State's defense, I think, I wouldn't put it up there with Utah's, but I do think it's better than Washington State, who gave Dante Moore a little bit of trouble. Maybe they try to rely a little bit on the run game as well. I'll be curious to see what Oregon State's offense does in this game, but I think Damian Martinez has a chance to really salt away this game for the Beavers.
Dante Moore is not having trouble. He's just playing like a freshman. I want the record to reflect that. I was looking at Oregon State's leading receivers. They got two guys who are 5'8", leading the team in receptions. I mean, that's got to be like some sort of record or something like that. Brett adds in the chat. He says Silas Bolden for Oregon State. He's asking about him. I don't know, Brett. I have no idea. All right, let's move on to housekeeping here. If you're watching this on YouTube, please go ahead and like the video. People in the chat hanging out with us today. We're trying to get to 2,000 subscribers. And if you're first time joining us, hey, what's going on? We're with campus2can.com. Go ahead and check out the website. And you can check out the C2C winning edge tier, projected spreads, updated depth charts for 133 FBS teams. There's really nothing else like that package in the college football space. Go ahead and check it out. All right, Matthew, I'm going to like this game because I think I'm going to put you in a bind here. I gave you some of the calls that we're going to make here, but we're going to play keep, trade, cut. Okay. I'll give you mine too. So here, let's start with this one.
Okay.
All right. He's not a freshman, redshirt freshman. What is Shedeur Sanders? Did he have 1 year or two at Jackson State? I can't remember if it was 2 or 1. Anyway.
Wait, was it 2? I think it was 1.
All right.
So it was 1 year.
Okay.
Redshirt freshman. Second year in college. Just say second year in college.
Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah.
Aiden Childs. Yeah. Lenora Sellers. Keep, trade, cut.
Keep, trade, cut?
Yeah.
I'm cutting Shedeur. That's pretty easy. That's not even a question for me. That's a tough one. You know what? Cut Shedeur Sanders. I'm keeping Aiden Childs, and keep, trade, cut, and I'm trading Lenora Sellers. And I'll tell you why I'm making that decision between Sellers and Childs. It's not an easy decision. Probably sounds a little bit biased because everybody knows how much I like Aiden Childs. I think he's a little bit more refined than Sellers is. While I definitely agree, I think Felix, you said before, he could be like the next Anthony Richardson. So he has by far the most upside out of these three guys. But if he doesn't hit that, I think Aiden Childs still has a chance to hit at least a decent ceiling. Sellers also has a lot more name value, might be because of us pumping him up. That I think you can get more for Sellers right now. So
more than Aiden Childs?
I think so.
I never thought about that.
Because he gets the comps of being such a great athlete. Like I don't even think it's fair to say they're in the same level. Aiden Childs is not the level of athlete that Lenora Sellers is. And I would say that his ceiling is higher. So people value him higher. I mean, I saw in a lot of the drafts Sellers was going a good couple rounds before Aiden Childs. And I think he's going to be the guy who probably starts next year. I don't know. I mean, I think both of them have a shot to start next year, but because of Sellers' rushing upside, when we look at this from the fantasy perspective, you're going to want him more than Aiden Childs. So I think he is the one that you could get more for if you traded him right now.
Lenora Sellers threw that 60-yard touchdown pass in stride, and I think collectively our heads exploded because it was like, oh my goodness, this is what I'm going to do. This is a Devy show. I think I can replace Shedeur Sanders' production on the college side of my C2C league. So I'm cutting Shedeur Sanders just like you are. I'm trading Aiden Childs, though. I don't think that you can just let go of Lenora Sellers' upside. Of course, I'm going to pick the dude who's going to be the next Anthony Richardson. I mean, he's more developed than Anthony Richardson was at this point in his career as a passer. We saw it in the spring game. We've already saw it in the limited action he's got as a freshman. He's got the touchdown pass to Nick Harbor, the fade, and then the 60-yard touchdown pass hitting in stride. I mean, from what there's no point at which we've seen Lenore Sellers where he has not looked like a freak. And Aiden Childs has been good. He's actually gotten in. I think they're burning his red shirt because he's close to having played more than 4 games. Aiden Childs is like ready to play right now. But I just think Lenore Sellers has the higher ceiling, and he's going to be more fun to own. He's going to be more fun to have rostered. So I'm picking Lenore Sellers. You can let us know in the chat. Let us know in the chat where as we go along here. Keep trade cut. Shedeur Sanders, Aiden Childs, Lenore Sellers. Here's a running back one, Matthew.
Yeah.
Keep trade cut. Le'Veon Moss, Kendall Milton, Jordan James.
Okay. I'm definitely keeping Le'Veon Moss because he's at least been more productive this year than the other two, if I'm remembering correctly, although that did come back to bite me in the ass.
This is an easy one.
With the Kyle Pitts, Michael Mayer thing. I'm probably cutting Kendall Milton at this point. And
absolutely.
If you can even trade Jordan James. I think the problem is the only one you can trade is Le'Veon Moss. I don't think you get anything for Kendall Milton or Jordan James, but I'll take a 15th round supplemental pick for Jordan James. I'm keeping Le'Veon Moss.
Jordan James is one of my favorites in last year's class. I think I even compared him to Ramondre Stevenson in the freshman guide. I think I did. I got to go back and look. I've never seen anything from Kendall Milton that I liked, despite his big hulky dad going around Twitter and, disputing tweets about his child. I mean, he's a fine college football player, but he's been injured. And even when he's been healthy, despite what Jared has been telling us, he has no juice.
So I just want to say I stand corrected. Jordan James has actually been fairly
he's been good.
Close to productive as Le'Veon Moss has. So that came.
Yeah, he's been good. He's been good. In some games he's outtouched Bucky Irving. So I still like Jordan. I like these guys who have thick lower halves and they don't necessarily have, breakaway speed, but I don't really care about. I just talked about Amarian Hampton, another guy who doesn't have a big running back who doesn't have top end speed, but I don't care about that. I'm cutting Kendall Milton. I think that I'm also so the last couple of weeks, Le'Veon Moss has really taken the reins as the starting running back. Yeah. We like Jimbo Fisher starting running backs. They get volume. And, I might be able to I'm going to keep Le'Veon Moss, projecting that he's going to continue to get that volume. And I'll trade Jordan James. I mean, I might not be able to get a lot for him, but I'm definitely cutting Kendall Milton. I actually put this on here because I wanted to say that I'm cutting Kendall Milton. That's exactly why we did this one. All right, here we go. I think this might be a little bit tougher. Maybe it's not.
It's not.
Let us know in the chat. It's not for you?
No, I already know my answer.
This is a wide receiver one. Kevin Concepcion, the freshman wide receiver from NC State, who's been very productive, just had his best game last week. Jaden Greathouse and the athletic freak Nick Harbor.
I'm cutting Harbor pretty easily here. There's just so many questions around what he isn't gonna be. I know he wants to play offense. Does he end up going back to defense where he was more successful in high school? I'm not taking that chance. I'll cut him. That makes no difference to me. Comes down to Kevin Concepcion or Jaden Greathouse. I think I'm gonna keep Kevin Concepcion and trade Jaden Greathouse. I mean, I think my biggest fear with Notre Dame is I thought this offense was going to take a step forward having Sam Hartman there. And they haven't been horrible, but they have not been as good as I expected them to be. I don't know if a Kenny Minchie or anybody coming in fixes that. And I don't know that Jaden Greathouse is going to be able to put up the stats for you on the college side. That, again, it's only 2 games really for Kevin Concepcion, but we like that offense. We like what Tedford's doing there with NC State. Like, I'm going to take that. Oh, is it Tedford? Who's the offense?
You were so close. You almost got this one right. Yeah, I am keeping Kevin Concepcion, and I've been trying to sneak. I'm going to put the all the ones we've done this far in the chat, so you guys can let us know.
It was trade Jaden Greathouse because I didn't really specify that. I'm trading Jaden Greathouse.
Yeah, but you could probably get just as much or more from trading Nick Harbor. That's why I am. But this is the thing that I want to point out. We have 2 guys here who are top 10 wide receivers in their class. Kevin Concepcion was like an afterthought. And we're both saying keep Kevin Concepcion And you're saying you would cut Nick Harbor. I would trade Nick Harbor because I think I can get a lot for him. I would cut Jaden Greathouse. I think that says a lot about what we're seeing from Kevin Concepcion. I talked about him with Matt Waldman yesterday. He's doing things that veteran wide receivers do. Like, I want to know if I know he's a freshman, but is he like a 20-year-old freshman? Is he a 19-year-old freshman, an older prospect? Because he's causing defensive backs to turn the wrong way. He's running really good routes. He's playing the slot, primarily the slot, but he had I can't remember who it was against. He had a touchdown catch, a wheel route where he was lined up inside and he ran the wheel, but he did this stutter step to have his defender break up and, to break forward. He's just doing things that I see veteran wide receivers do. So, and like I said, I've been secretly trying to get him on all my rosters. I actually just pulled a trade off with J-Wack so I could pick him up. So I'm keeping Kevin Concepcion. I'm trading Nick Harbor, and I'm cutting Jaden Greathouse. All right, here we go. Another running back one. Two running backs that we've already talked. Actually, all three of these guys we've already talked about. Yeah. Keep, trade, cut. Audric Estime, Amarian Hampton, Carson Steele.
Yeah, this one's actually kind of hard. I bet you're not going to like this one. I'm trading Amarian Hampton because I don't think he keeps it up. I think he has been good this year, but Mac just seems to want to have like 4 or 5 running backs. I think he's got the most value out of those 3 currently.
Not lately. It's been Amarian Hampton. I'm sorry. It's your turn.
I know. You're not wrong, but British Brooks is still getting some run. Like, they just don't seem to want to commit. Maybe I'll be wrong. I'm fine with that. They weren't even doing that back when they had Javonte and Michael Carter. Like, they seem to want to run multiple backs. I think he's got enough value, and I'm trading him. I don't think that he keeps it going. I could be ended up being wrong with him. I'm going to keep Estime for now just because he has been putting up points as well, and they seem to want to have him be the guy. No, I think Jeremiah Love is the better running back. Now, I'm cutting Carson Steele. Man, I like Carson Steele, but he hasn't really been putting up the stats we kind of expect from a Chip Kelly running back. I don't know that he does it this year, and he probably comes back next year because I don't think he's going to get drafted in the first 2 days. So I think he comes back, but I'd rather just cut Carson Steele.
I think so. I think we agree on this one. The reason I'm keeping Audric Estime is because you look at this 2024 draft class. There's not an established guy. So could Audric Estime go to the NFL Combine and run, a 4.5? We know he's probably going to put up 30 reps on the bench. Somebody's going to fall in love with him. It's not Braylon Allen. It's actually Audric Estime that probably comps better to A.J. Dillon than Braylon Allen does. And he's probably a better lateral athlete than A.J. Dillon. Why did A.J. Dillon go in the second round? That's the threshold we've been using for a lot of these backs who look like that. He shouldn't have gone in the second round. Anyway, I'm keeping Audric Estime because of his I think that he's going to have day 2 draft capital.
Yeah.
I'm going to trade Amarian Hampton, and I put Carson Steele on here because that's your boy. I thought that I would put you in a bind here.
No. Is that where you thought you were going to get me to lie to people?
No, it's not. It's not. It's not at all. Hey, I got one more here. And before I get to this one, if you have one in the chat, give us 3 players. We'll let you know. Keep, trade, cut. Here's the one that I think that you're going to lie to the people on, Matt.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I'm ready. Hit me with it.
Keep, trade, cut.
Okay.
I can't even talk tonight. Keep,
I gotta
trade, cut.
I got to write this down. All right. Keep, trade,
no, you
cut.
Don't.
Keep,
you
trade,
don't
cut.
need to write this
Gotcha.
down.
Okay.
Quinn Ewers. Kyle McCord. Michael Penix Jr.
Okay, Kyle McCord, Michael Penix Jr. All right, so who am I going to keep?
Go ahead, lie to the people.
So I'm cutting Michael Penix because he's not going to get drafted. So, I mean, it's going to suck because you're going to lose out on that college production this year.
I wanted you to lie to the people who are listening to us, and I knew you would. So go ahead. Go ahead. I'm going to
trade.
Go ahead. No. Start all over.
I'm cutting Michael Penix. So I've already said it. I'm cutting Michael Penix.
You're an unserious person.
You're
an unserious person.
I get it. He's going to get you buku fantasy points this year, and
you're
it's going to suck
person.
to lose that. But you know what? He ain't going to make it in the NFL. His knees are dust. He's not making it.
I knew it.
No, I'm cutting Michael Penix. I'm going to trade as much as it hurts my heart. I got the jersey right here. I'm trading my boy Quinn. It's not even a chance to put it.
Oh, man.
Because he's got the name. He's got the pedigree. He's probably going to go first round next year. And I'm keeping my boy Kyle McCord. He's going to turn it around. He'll be all right.
I knew that I could get you to just lie
I'm not
Straight
lying.
up.
That's exactly what I
You
do.
do not.
Fantasy's a game.
You know how I
of
know you're
fun.
lying? Because I tried to
and I
trade
wanna
you
have
for
fun.
for Anthony Richardson, and I offered you a competitive. You're like, I'm not
It was
trading Anthony
not a
Richardson
competitive
after you
trade.
spent 2.5 years. Seriously. Well, folks, we know that Matthew can't be objective now. That was the litmus test for it, and he failed miserably. You're going to keep Michael Penix Jr. here. He's going to sneak into the back of the first round. Even if he doesn't, he's going to be a day 2 pick like, I don't know, Derek Carr, Andy Dalton, both of whom he has better athletic tools than them. Yeah. So he's a guy who I think is going to get a second contract in the NFL if he stays healthy. I am cutting Kyle McCord. This is the conversation we need to have about Kyle McCord. There were 2 throws where he had wide open wide receivers. And in a similar way at Texas, when we saw Casey Thompson put everything that he had into a couple of throws and that ball just fluttered and stayed in the air and dropped a little bit short, we saw that on 2 different throws with Kyle. We were even talking about it in the Discord chat where, he might not have all the arm strength that is needed to be, an elite pocket passer. So I'm cutting Kyle McCord. I'm trading Quinn Ewers because fanboys like you will probably pay for him. So that's the correct answer on that one.
We'll see.
You don't have.
Kyle's dealing with an ankle injury too. I'm just throwing that out there. Neither here nor there.
All right, here we go. Matt. Matt. Mike. And by the way, Brett in the chat, he has the right answer. That was the right answer. Keep Penix, trade Ewers, and cut McCord. All right. Here's from Mike, our dearly beloved Mike Valerie. Keep, trade, cut Matthew Golden, Ted McMillan, Isaiah Bond.
That's easy. One. What? No, easy? I'm cut. Well, one of them is I'm cutting Isaiah Bond. That's easy for me. Oh,
I don't understand why.
I don't think he's any better than Ted McMillan or Matthew Golden.
So I think we both agree that you're going to keep Ted McMillan here. He is
probably
projecting to be a first-round NFL draft pick. I'm cutting Matthew Golden. Isaiah Bond has some Jalen Waddle to his game.
Yeah, so does every shifty wide receiver. Like, how many of them actually become Jalen Waddle?
You're just looking at production. Like, they're not. He's
That's
not
all that
going to be
matters.
as productive as those guys because they don't have. No, it's not all that matters. It's not. You're like box score scouting right here. Isaiah Bond is a good player. He's not going to be as productive as he would have been with Bryce Young under the helm with who's Jalen Milroe. I mean, Jalen Milroe is not the same type of passer. So I am cutting. I'm very easily cutting Matthew Golden here. I'm very easily keeping Ted McMillan, and I'm trading Isaiah Bond. I've actually tried to trade for Isaiah Bond in a couple of places. So there we go. All right, here's another one. We have another Matthew Golden one from William in the chat. I think this is Dane Key, Matthew Golden, and Squirrel White. It elicits a sigh from Matthew. He's very stressed out over this. Matthew is very easy to stress out. It's not that.
No, I'm trying to remember.
I think Dane Key is the easy cut here.
Yeah,
but Dane Key has been playing well this season. People keep underselling Dane Key because Barian Brown is there.
A couple games he hasn't done anything. He was okay against last weekend's Georgia. I think he had like 50 something yards. I'm cutting Dane Key. I think that's it. It's more Squirrel and.
I think you keep Squirrel. I think you keep Matthew Golden and you trade Squirrel White.
Yeah, fine.
I still so Squirrel White is like what 160 pounds. And he's not had he had 100 yards last week, but he had it on like 8 catches. I would have thought in that system, if he had 8 catches, he would have had 175 yards. So, and it's because of Joe Milton's not playing that well. So, and Austin is in the chat. He says Dane Key has not been playing very good. Whatever, backseat driver.
I mean, he had I don't say a good game. He had like 60 yards against. I think he had 60 yards against Georgia, but there's been multiple games where I'm pretty sure he's been like shut out.
0.
Yeah, he's been a 0.
But I'm trading Squirrel White because I don't think he has the NFL potential that Matthew Golden does. Did you say yours?
I agree with you. Yeah, it's fine. I mean, I think Matthew Golden's a better player than Isaiah Bond. Why would I trade him over Squirrel White?
And I don't know if Squirrel White return punts or kicks because I know Matthew Golden does. I can't remember if Squirrel White does anything in the return game. So I mean, the fact that Golden has that in his back pocket could also get him to the NFL. All right, unless there's not, I don't see any other ones. So let's get here to this last question, Matthew.
Okay.
This last question.
Yeah.
We did an elite cast. It was Austin's idea. And I think he only did that because at the time, you were the only one who really used that word.
Yeah.
And then you stopped using it. So we'll play the game a little bit
when you bully someone enough, they eventually.
Oh, you're bullied? You've been bullied for real? You really?
www.bully.com.
And it's a picture of your face?
Yep. Poster board for it. Go ahead. Ask your question. What you got?
Obviously, this is a fantasy show, so I'm not asking you to do offensive line analysis or center analysis. Yep. But at the wide receiver, running back, tight end, quarterback positions, give me how many you have that are you consider elite at those positions and who they are.
Wide receiver, I probably only say 3. Harrison, I still think Mecca deserves to be in that conversation, but I might put Evan Stewart over Mecca, but those would be the 3. I don't know who else I would put in that category. I mean, I think guys like Jonte Cook, Zachariah Branch could get there, but they haven't really shown anything this year. I mean, Branch has
presently elite. Presently elite.
Those 3. For me at running back, it's Singleton. That's
Wait, who are your 3 at wide receiver?
Marvin Harrison Jr., Emeka Egbuka, and Evan Stewart.
Okay.
Quarterback, I think it's just 3. It's Caleb, Drake, and Drew Allar. I think that's it. I don't think you can't put Quinn in there. I think we could be having this conversation at this point in time next year about Dante Moore because I have liked the way he's played at times, but you can't put him there now. I don't know who else you'd even put in that conversation. I don't think anybody else deserves to be in the conversation. So just those 3 for me on them too. Quarterback.
Let me start at tight end here. I think that there's a chance that Luke Lachey and Brock Bowers are elite.
I forgot about that.
I will, yeah. So I'll put both of them there. Even though Luke Lachey is out for the season. At running back, it's either 0 or it's Nick Singleton. At wide receiver, I really only have 2, and it's Evan Stewart and Marvin Harrison Jr. I can't put Emeka Egbuka in that conversation. Emeka Egbuka is not even my third wide receiver. Where do I have? I have Emeka Egbuka. I probably need to move him down, especially after the conversation I had with Matt Waldman, which you can get on the Campus to Can NIL podcast feed. Matt Waldman does one prospect with us every single week, and this week it was Emeka Egbuka. That was a very interesting conversation. Yeah, it's Evan Stewart and Marvin Harrison Jr. Like Evan Stewart should be able to. If Evan Stewart declared for the NFL draft this year, I think he would be a first-round draft pick. And then at the quarterback position, it's 2 guys. It's Caleb Williams and it's Michael Penix Jr. Michael Penix Jr. is having an elite college football season. That doesn't mean that he's an elite prospect, obviously, because of the injury. Matthew put his head. Matthew put his head on the mic.
If that's what we're doing here,
are you? Wait, time out. Are you saying that he's not having an elite season?
That doesn't make him an elite player. You said who's elite. If we're talking elite, then I can say anything.
An elite player.
Kyle McCord deserves to be in the conversation for Ohio.
He's not doing anything
because he's got elite cleats. Quinn Ewers used to have an elite mullet. He deserves to be in the court. That's the conversation we're having now. If you're just going to say
neither one of those guys are going to be in New York at the end of the season.
I don't know. Maybe Quinn Ewers might.
He's
actually having a statistically good season.
Michael Penix. Let me tell you something right now. Michael Penix Jr. has the chance to be the best shoot from deep call I've ever had. I mean, he's already up there, but there was nobody talking about Michael Penix Jr. in 2020 talking about his feet. We were on this show. He has the opportunity right there with Thomas Castellanos as some of the best shoot from deep calls I had. Michael Penix Jr. is elite. He's elite. He's an elite college football player right now, and Caleb Williams is. I do not have Drake May there. He's very good. I don't have him as elite. Definitely not Drew Allar and not Dante Moore yet. Maybe eventually, but they're not there yet. So I have 2 quarterbacks, 1 running back, 2 wide receivers, 2 tight ends. That's it.
I mean, I have nothing to say. This is absolutely ridiculous. So.
Chiming in, Austin chiming in. He says, calm down, Rex Ryan. What about Luther Burden?
No, he's had a really good season, but I don't think it warrants elite. I think he's right in that next tier. I mean, you don't have Mecca in there. It sounds like you probably, I don't know, you're not a big fan of Luther Burden either.
No, I've come around. No.
Oh, you're coming around on Luther Burden now, finally? Now that he's
this is the thing that will get me canceled, though. Luther Burden is still being used as a gadget player.
Yeah, I don't disagree. That might just be the offense. I don't know.
That's how he was used last year. He's being used a little bit differently than he was last year because they're actually, deploying him downfield. But defenses are playing Luther Burden on the short stuff. And he's getting open, being the inside receiver on bunch. I mean, he's usually as a slot wide receiver, so he's always inside. The inside receiver on bunches. Yeah. He's running through traffic to get open. I mean, you have to cross your fingers that somebody is going to use him as creatively as Drinkowitz is using him there at Missouri this year.
I mean, I don't think you have to. You can go back to the conversation we had with Austin and Chris. I think it was a couple weeks ago where he
is being used as a gadget player. Yes, he is.
Yeah, I mean, if he, even if that's what you think he's going to be in the NFL, I know you've talked about, Laviska Shenault. If he keeps producing like this, though, he's likely going to, I don't know, he'll get first-round draft capital, but he's going to be at least a day 2 guy. And then you just trade him because people will view him because there will be people who just look at the production. So then you can just trade him then if that's what you really want to do. I personally would not put him in the elite category. I think he has elite traits. I think he could be there, but not right now. No, I would put him in that second tier below those 3 for me. Below Mecca, Mark.
I would put him below those 3-2, but he is on the spectrum that includes Laviska Shenault, it includes Deebo Samuel, it includes Percy Harvin. Like those guys, that's how they were used in college. It doesn't mean that they're bad football players, but it's not like he's not used like Marvin Harrison Jr. You line up at X and have him run a deep comeback or like a post route. That's not how they're using Luther Burden. I'm sorry, chat. Those in the chat who think differently, that's not how they're using him. So, which is fine. Like it's college football. Let them use him in a way that best suits their offense. I'm not criticizing it. I'm just observing it. And now I'm being like arrows being thrown at me because I'm just observing what it is that I'm seeing. So,
yeah, Brett, I mean, he does have some downfield catches, but I mean, his actual ADOT is embarrassingly low. It's at like 7, I think. He's doing most of his work as Yak.
Yes, I mean, but they are deploying him from the slot, deep. I've seen him run wheel routes. I've seen him run corner routes from that position. I've seen him run, again, like in the inside wide receiver position on bunches and run through traffic to get open. So William adds he has as many targets behind the line of scrimmage as he does 10 yards downfield per PFF. So you're being stat checked there. You have any other thoughts?
No, he's a good player.
No, do you have any other thoughts for the show?
Oh, no, I got nothing. Go Kyle McCord, Quinn Ewers. Elite.
That's how you want to close the show?
Elite. Yeah.
Who's elite? Kyle McCord and Quinn Ewers are?
Quinn Ewers.
I told you all that I would get Matthew to lie to you. I told you, and he did, and I didn't disappoint you. All right, I guess that's going to be our show for tonight. Apologies to Kirk Herbstreit. We ran out of time. We'll get him rescheduled soon for Matt Bruening and myself, Felix Sharpe. Good night and good luck.